I feel like our process is broken. I can't say it enough because I feel like this whole, you know, the BDR gets them in the door, or the AE asks whatever, and then, you know, they.
Oh, you're opening this can of worms here.
I know. I can't believe I went right down there. I just went right in. We talked about all the feel-good stuff. Now let's talk about the process being broken.
Welcome. It's episode 2, Demo Delta Podcast. We're back with Pam Dunn for the second half of the interview. Hopefully you're here from me telling you to come here right from the end of the first episode. If you're checking this episode out first, go back to episode 1. I know both of the episodes released at the same time. It's a bit confusing this time, but go watch the first half of the episode in episode 1, then come back here to continue right where we left off, pick up right where we left off, I should say. We're having a great conversation with Pam. In this half of the interview, the main thing we talk about around connecting with people is making it about them, not about you. Along with some other stuff, a lot of fun along the way. I don't want to hold you up between now and then. It's a fantastic episode, so please do hop right on in, and I'll see you at the end.
You know, we're all not only taking care of ourselves, but I think it feels good to take care of other people. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm that kind of person anyway, but you know, I feel so much better when, you know, I can ask people something about them, like, well, how are you doing today? Or what are you working on that's exciting you? Or just those kind of questions to be able to, you know, uncover something cool about a person. I think that just makes me feel better, but also hopefully makes them feel better that someone is, you know, kind of asking that about them.
I think it does. Like, I know there's a lot of studies out there that have looked at the fact that people like to talk about themselves. They really do.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, we all have family members that do this, that over Thanksgiving, they always talk about themselves, and that's it. But I think in general, I mean, even normal people that you get along with will, if given the opportunity just to tell me something about what you're working on, what's got you excited, people will happily share, even if they never mentioned it ever before. And that does, you can tell it puts a smile on someone's face, right? Speaking to their mental health a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I also I posted this a while back when I was on my vacation in Florida. Speaking of running again, I'm always out there trying to get a little run in. And in those hot climates, I try to get up really early so I can do it early. And that day I took off. And it's like a 3-mile loop. It's nothing major more than that. But I forgot my water bottle. And I run with this handheld water bottle. And then I stuff my keys in this little pocket there. So I get out probably a mile in and I realize, oh my gosh, how did I actually not realize I didn't have the thing on my hand? Because it slides on and you just kind of leave it there. You don't even have to hold it. And I thought, oh, well, it's kind of hot. I'm sure it's fine. It's really a short run. And so as I was going and I got to the turnaround point, which is along the water, I was like dying. And I thought,
oh no,
I need something to distract myself to be able to get back. Because I don't want to walk. I just want it to be over with now. So I said, I'm going to make a conscious effort to say good morning. How are you? How are things to every person that I run by on the way back? That way, selfishly, I mean, I was being a little selfish, let's be honest. It was about me not thinking about how much I had left to go, which was just really just a mile and a half left. It wasn't like I was running, you know, a 10K or anything, or a half marathon. And
right.
So I was thinking, okay, well, that will distract me. You know what it did? Literally, people just lit up. Like people's faces and of course, again, I'm a little loud. I kind of run, and I'm little, but I run kind of heavy. I'm one of those runners, you know, I'm dying.
You're not sneaking up on them. You're not chasing them. Yeah.
I'm not like super sleek, little gazelle. No, I'm more like clomp, 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 clomp. So they must have thought, and I have my headset in, so of course I have it off, but I'm probably loud and projecting, as my husband says. You know, they're going to hear you coming and you're loud when you speak. I'm like, great, awesome. I won't scare anyone.
am I supposed to? Why are you bringing this up? I know that. That's great.
Why are you telling me something I already know? I don't already know. So I was so amazed. First, it flew by, of course, as it probably should have. But I never once thought about water again, because every single person coming towards me, you know, whether it's with a little dog and I'm like, oh, your puppy's so cute, la la la, and I'm running and I'm like, bye, thanks for chatting, and they are just like huge smiles, and People are smiling, and I'm thinking, oh, I feel so much better now that I don't have to think about water. But again, I was thinking when I got back to the hotel, like, oh, wait a minute. That was actually kind of cool because people did talk to me. They didn't think I was a crazy lady, sweating and yelling. They were just like, oh, hey, someone cares enough to ask me a question as they're running by.
It's like surprising and not surprising at the same time, right? It's
right.
I feel like we have this angst. We feel like we can't go up and talk to people because, stranger danger, which as adults, I feel like stranger danger has gotten even worse because there are crazy people out there. Yes, but the crazy people are not as common as you think. The example that I like to use to remind people is people have a negative image of school bus drivers, right? Because school bus drivers make it on the news when they do something bad. Now, I was a school bus driver. That was a job I did right out of college. Actually, it was actually during college through the end of college because it's a great job for while you're in college. And I can definitively say it's like the nicest people you've ever met, that they care about kids in the right way, like teachers. But of course, when one of them does something bad, that's going to make the news, and it's going to make everyone think all school bus drivers are evil and are just waiting for the day they can take the whole bus of kids and kidnap them. But that's not going to happen, right? And so I feel like it's the same thing about general humanity around you. They're probably nice people, and they probably wouldn't mind saying hi. And even if they really don't want to talk, they probably are okay with you saying hi to them.
I just think it's important for, we all are looking for human to human connection at some point, right? Some of us more than others, but I think that if we focus on that more, rather than worrying about things that, everything's divisive today, right? Everyone's got their opinion. I think if we look back at the basic human connection, like our brains just really want to, communicate and have a dialogue and kind of do a lot more listening and asking, thoughtful questions. I think that's what makes us better as humans.
I'm thinking about all the ways that I don't do that today when I'm around people that I'm like, you know what? I should stop being so curmudgeon-y, I think is probably the best way to put it. And really just, there's no harm in it. And also now knowing the mental potential benefits as well, I might have to start doing that. Just connecting with people randomly more in a small way. And you're not saying like become their best friend, obviously. You're just saying just connect with them on a small way.
Yeah, her whole story. I mean, she had 3 amazing stories on the podcast, which were about the random strangers that actually turned into lifelong friends. Oh, wow. And that's amazing. Yeah, so she gives a story about her daughter who decided, she wanted to save up her money her whole life. She wanted to travel through Asia, I think, by herself. And so 24 years old, she flies to Bali and gets there all jet lagged, goes to a hostel and realizes, oh, yeah, I'm all alone. I don't know anybody here. What am I going to do? And actually ends up seeing a woman her age across the room, and like someone's got to go first. Like this is the whole thing you were just saying. Like someone's got to talk first in order to make these connections, right? So she, was scared out of her wits. What am I? I don't want to talk to just this random stranger. What have I done? I've saved up my whole life to make this trip at 24, and now what? Right? Like someone's like, okay, now I got here. Now what am I going to do? And that just and I think the girl was literally like going to the showers. So she's literally like wrapped in a towel kind of thing. And she's like, this is my time now. Because what if I don't see her again? And so she says, hi, my name is Sawyer. And the girl's like, takes a few minutes. Hi, I'm whatever her name was. Naomi. My name's Naomi. And they ended up like having dinner together that night and literally have had a lifelong friendship for the last X number of years.
That's
Random
awesome.
Person she met in Bali. Yeah.
Yeah. A person crazy. She's decided, I'm going to make a connection to this person. Probably could be argued not the best time too, maybe, but
right.
But yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. I do want to take a slight pivot because I do want,
sure.
I've had some thoughts around what this could mean to us as pre-sales people, because I've been thinking actually a lot lately about the things outside of the prep on the actual demo that we do that we should be prepping, right? And I feel like we neglect that completely. It's a whole different topic, but that's what's been top of mind for me lately. And as I think about this thing around connections, one statement that you made was our brains just want to connect with people, and that's what we really want. Especially now, people aren't getting that anymore either. It used to be your colleagues, you'd grab a cup of coffee, you'd chat just briefly, but with most people not being in offices anymore, they're not getting that. As sellers, I feel like we have an even more greater opportunity now to offer that point of connection to people. What ways do you think we could maybe take some of this connection stuff into the world of, the meetings and the demos and the presentations we have?
I've been thinking about this so much, and it goes back a little bit to the being memorable part, because again, I feel like most of our products or whatever, if we're selling a platform or product or whatever our offering is, it's getting really noisy out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like your competitor is probably, they see you're doing this really well, then they're going to come out with the same thing, right? So I feel like it's been getting very hard over the last, like, let's say 5, maybe more, 6 years to really stand out and differentiate ourselves. So if our products are that close to each other, then, and we all, talking to someone about this today, people buy from people they like, right? There's definitely that old adage of, I've won plenty of deals because we made this connection and maybe we weren't the best fit, but they bought into us as a company and as a group and as a partner, right? So there's definitely those opportunities, but how do we do that? How do we get to the point where we can actually, utilize some of this, human to human connection? Like, how do we facilitate better meetings? And I've been thinking about that since I heard the first podcast, because I'm the podcast junkie, besides the startup junkie. Another one I listened to was a woman by the name of Stephanie Chung. What's fascinating about her, she also wrote a couple books, but what's fascinating is she started out as a baggage handler and worked her way up to CEO.
Oh, wow.
And in that industry, first of all, there really aren't any women CEOs, first of all, in that industry. It's very male dominated. It's also very like ex-military. She had none of that. She was an Army brat, I think. And so she kind of parlayed her desire to want to get rich. She went from baggage handler, where they realized there was something about her because she was always interacting with customers. And they said, hey, you have this knack for talking to people and connecting with people differently than anyone else in baggage handling. So we think you'd be really good at sales. So somebody actually saw that in her and kind of helped her along the way. And she, though, had to teach herself, like, what's good at sales? How do I connect with people? How do I, and they're selling, multi-million-dollar, jets, and they're up against, companies that sell like Lear jets and all that kind of stuff. So they're multi-million dollars. And so she was trying to figure out a way to differentiate herself. When you're talking to someone, she has an acronym and she calls it ALLY, right? You become their ally. And what you're trying to do is really create this connection. And the letters ALLY spell, the A is ask, the L is listen, the second L is learn, and then the Y is you take action. And I took that as also you take action can also be you ask another question, or you take what you learned and you actually rephrase it, right? Because everyone likes to hear what you thought you heard them say, but also have the opportunity to say, no, that's not exactly it, right? So the only way we can get better, I think, at the before the demo stuff is if we start doing more of this. It's not about you, it's about them, right? Every interaction we have with a customer, we have to think about, how am I creating a better connection? How am I, listening more than talking? I should not be selling my product at this point. It's all about them, right? So how do I create that connection where they feel comfortable, right? Like how do I ask them the questions like you're asking, someone in your family to start talking about themselves, right? That's what I think we need to do a better job at. And I've been thinking about being memorable, right? Having something like Ally, right? She created Ally because it's memorable. Like, you're never going to forget that now, right? Next time you talk to someone, you'll be like, oh yeah, Ally, ask, listen, learn, and then you take action. Do I ask another question? Do I paraphrase it back to them? Do I ask something else and try to go in a different way? There's just so many. So I was really fascinated by it. Like, oh, that's actually really good.
people will buy from someone that they like, that they trust, they've connected with. I mean, I've sold bad software. I have. I mean, well, at some point in your career, when you get over, a certain number of years, you're going to have landed someplace that sells software that you wouldn't have bought yourself.
Yeah.
If you're there, try not to stay there super long because that can eat away at your soul. But I've done it. And how I did it was for people who were like, you know what? I like you. And, I'm going to buy from you because I like you. They're kind of admitting, I know it's not the best. I know you know it's not the best, but I like you. We've connected. And that, I hope we don't have to get to that point, but imagine selling good software. Yeah. Imagine selling something you actually believe in, but then we don't take the time to prioritize. I feel like that's the trap we fall into. We deprioritize that connecting with people when we have good software because, well, why would I spend time connecting? People should just see the great software when they want to connect with you first and foremost in many times, right?
Yeah, agree. I feel like our process is broken. I can't say it enough because I feel like this whole, the BDR gets them in the door, or the AE asks whatever, and then, they...
Oh, you're opening this can of worms here.
I know. I can't believe I went right down there. I just went right in. We talked about all the feel-good stuff. Now let's talk about the process being broken.
mean, the broken... Yeah, it is. I mean, I think a lot of us definitely realize that. Like, we spend so much time insulating people from talking to us, and it's like, why not just talk, meet with someone, talk to them, and
don't force them into a 30-minute SC is going to do discovery call, and then that poor SC is just thinking about, I have to get some stuff out of them so I can create a demo. Like, no.
Can we stop Can we stop having the first thing we're interested in be, is this budgeted? What's the timeline?
Oh, gosh.
Are you the economic buyer? Who's the economic buyer? And if it's not you, can I have access to the economic buyer? I could tell you a couple of things that's wrong about that. If I could rant for a second. One, they have a problem and you are so not learning their problem that they want to tell you about. Let them tell you about it and get to the other stuff in a bit. And two, I was a buyer. I didn't know what an economic buyer was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that meant. And not until I joined sales and someone explained, and they said, we got to find the economic buyer. And I was like, I bought software. What's that? Because people would ask me who it was. They're like, well, that's the person who can sign the check. I'm like, maybe don't ever use that word. Because not everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, it's almost like a made up word. I feel like in sales we made that up, or some, business consultant charges $500,000 to make it up.
Yeah, I mean, what's some of the other ones? It's your positive business outcomes. What's your positive business outcomes? I'm like, nobody talks like that ever. I never thought about, I'm really missing these positive business outcomes. Instead, I was missing my report's broken and won't take more than it takes 4 hours to run. That's my fix it. My positive business outcome. Positive business outcome, not having that problem.
Definitely.
Anyways, there's so many broken early funnel processes out there that should be fixed as well.
There are. Yes. If we could only fix that.
I know. That feels like a whole separate conversation.
Yeah,
a whole separate conversation.
You should table that. You could probably have enough podcast material from just that for the next few sessions.
I could start a whole separate podcast talking about the broken sales process, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I've already got this project. We're going to stick with this project.
Yeah, I think so too. You could call that "It's a Broken Road."
Ooh. Keep that for yourself. Are we hearing about a Pam Dunn podcast? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I always wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah. No. Clearly, you like talking and connecting with people. I mean, this is one of the benefits.
Right.
Sit here talking to you. I don't know.
We'll see. Maybe I'll write a book. Maybe we'll see.
Something would happen like that.
Anything. You never know.
So we are getting close to the end of time. Before we end, I did want to leave you just anything that you're working on right now, anything you wanted to highlight. Also, how can people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you? All of the above.
Yes, all of the above. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so if anyone wants to reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'm happy to connect in that way. I am looking at putting together some consulting around this very topic of, making better connections, even using some methods like becoming an ally, right? I feel like it's just so fascinating to me to have people just really look at better ways to make the process better. I still think there's lots we can do with the broken process. So that's something I'm actually exploring as well, putting some of that together. But yeah, they can, I'm also just pamdunn@gmail.com. Real super easy. If they want to send me an email, I'm happy to do that as well. They can connect with me, contact me in any way. I always love to meet new people. I'm fascinated, as you can tell, by this human-to-human connection. So, yeah, reach out to me. Love to put some 30 minutes on the calendar and get to know some people.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I'll share all of that in the show notes and in the description of the video as well, so people can find everything there. But, Pam, thanks so much for being the first guest on the show. Oh. I'm sad our time is over. This has been absolutely a fun time.
Same. I always enjoy talking to you, and recording it on a podcast just seems super natural because you're just great. And every time I see your name, I just want to say, it's Just Jack, but I can't wait.
I love that. I love the reference. Just Jack. Absolutely.
Awesome.
A missed name for the podcast. I feel like it's probably taken though, but
it's probably taken. But yeah, and also you have to have been a Will and Grace, a person to actually even get the reference. Yeah. So everyone who's younger than us will say, "What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" Anyways, well, thanks again, Pam. Really enjoyed the time.
Same. Thank you.
Well, that's it. That's the interview with Pam. Again, Pam, thank you so much for joining the show. I really enjoyed having you on here, and hopefully you all enjoyed listening to our conversation as much as we enjoyed having the conversation. But before the end of the episode, if you've not already done so, please do subscribe to the show, to the channel, whether it's watching or whether you're just listening. Please subscribe wherever you can so you can find out when new episodes drop. Episodes will be coming out every other week, but please do tell your friends, tell your coworkers, share it on LinkedIn. Let me know, either in LinkedIn or in the comments, what your favorite part was, what your takeaway is, and if you're maybe going to try to, actually talk to a stranger on a train. I'm terrified of that still, even though Pam has mentioned how it can help me feel better. I'm still terrified of doing that. But anyways, that's all we got for this week. Thank you again so much all for being here and for listening and for all your support. We'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.